All right, fig lovers, this is Ross the Fig Boss. We got our first figs of the season. And I'm really excited for this because these are some tasty Brebas that I'm about to eat. I have two Smith Breba and also a Hativ de Argenteuil Breba. It looks like it didn't ripen totally properly. That probably some of the female flower parts in here are probably just not edible. But nonetheless, these are two really tasty figs that I highly recommend for a lot of people to grow, really for their main crop. But Smith has become actually such a reliable, in the last 2 years, my trees have reliably produced Breba. It's so weird. Again, it's such an interesting topic, the world of Brebas, that I did actually do a video a number of weeks ago about the interesting world of Brebas and what varieties are producing Brebas and some recommendations. What is a Breba? The benefits of Brebas, all this talk about Brebas. And they form, if you guys recall from that video, they form on last year's growth. So if you do all the pruning on your trees and you cut off all this growth, you're actually never going to get your Brebas. So you have to leave a lot of the growth, and I would actually recommend not pruning your trees if you're going to be trying to grow figs for the Brebas. Now, I'm getting them so early, probably a lot earlier than most people, even probably people in much warmer places than I, because these are grown on container trees, 10 or 15 gallon size pots. I moved them into my greenhouse here in the backyard. It's a 6x8 size, small, Harbor Freight. Nothing really to show you guys too much of, but I opened that up and got the heater in there running and took the top off, let the sunlight come in around March 1st. By about March 15th, it usually takes about 2 weeks, they'll wake up. And that's really mathematically the date, 90 days later. After the trees wake up, the Brebas start to swell, they start growing new leaves. 90 days later, you actually have ripe Breba. And it just is clockwork like that every year. It's kind of nuts. And so what I also find about the Smith Brebas, they're so good, they're almost comparable to the main crop. And as the time goes on throughout the season, it gets warmer. We still haven't really been that warm actually here in the Philadelphia area. These Brebas would be even better. There's nothing like a Smith that ripens in like July. So if I can get maybe some Brebas in July, they might actually be pretty good, comparable to that main crop. But typically the main crop is better, but nonetheless, these are hard to beat, especially for like first figs of the year. You know, I can't say enough about this variety. Also Hativ de Argenteuil for anybody that lives in a humid place, the Northeast, all the way down to the South in the Mid-Atlantic. And then if you go even west to West Texas, where it is still very humid and rainy, these two varieties, Hativ de Argenteuil and Smith, are like unbeatable because they have an amazing flavor and they withstand that moisture unlike most varieties do. Now, I would also even recommend them for people trying to grow Brebas. I actually would think, you know, maybe consider growing Smith, believe it or not. It's worth a shot. But also, for people in dry and really hot climates, these are just insanely tasty figs that even you guys would love to grow. So these are two varieties that everybody's gonna love. I'll probably never stop promoting them and talking about them till the day I die. They're just that good. Now, again, let's taste them. Show you guys the inside here. Oh, that looks actually really nice. There's a drop of honey coming from the eye, and also there's a pool of honey in that one there at the void. This one I imagine, and the first one I really had this year, we picked a little bit earlier. A local friend, Chris, was joining me, trying some different fruits in the yard. Shout out to Chris. And we had to pick it a little bit early because that was just the day he showed up. Every day these Brebas hang on the tree, the better. They just need a long time to ripen. It's just not typically as warm, and those warmer temperatures speed up the metabolism and the hang time shortens of these figs. So I waited as long as possible. Today we're gonna get probably an inch of rain very soon. I mean, it may even come down in this video. It's getting worse by the second. And so gotta get them now while I can. Let's try it. Well, that's really good. Super sweet. It's got a nice fig flavor to it. Not a ton of berry, not on that sharp acidic berry that this typically gets. Here it's starting to rain, but it's very good. Oh man, a really nice fig flavor to it. Now here's the Hativ de Argenteuil, but as I was saying, this one didn't properly ripen And you can see in there actually a lot of the male or the female flower parts did not ripen properly. So I only have partial success there. You can see the red portion is where the female parts actually may have been pollinated. I think what could happen with this variety, maybe not, pollinate is the wrong word, but I think what did happen with this variety is that I do think it could produce maybe a decent Breba crop every year. I think Smith actually is more reliable, believe it or not. And even Smith may not be reliable of a Breba producer, even though it's produced for 2 years. But I think this variety, because when I took it out of the greenhouse, it got hit by sunburn pretty bad. I don't think it really liked that, and it probably just didn't ripen this fig properly. I'm gonna just give this section here a taste, because you can see there's definitely some edible portion of this. Yeah, it's tasteless, no sugar whatsoever. The other Smith Breba here, this one's nice and dark. I think a little darker than the other one, smaller. Let's try this. It smells so good, guys. I mean, this is like, you can even smell this fig. It's so fragrant, and you can even tell like it's a fig. You know what I mean? Like, it's got this nice figginess to it. Even on the skin, if I just took off a piece of the skin there, yeah, I mean, it like gives it an extra flavor to Smith. And we talk so much about this variety, but it just keeps on giving. It's so amazing. If you're in a colder climate, like a Zone 7A, you gotta grow this one. Recommended to grow it in pots. In a 7B, I would plant like Texas BA1. My Texas BA1, that's very similar to Smith, is surviving on the west side of the property. And then anyone in a Zone 8, just go ahead and plant Smith and up. You're gonna have such amazing fruits, you're not even gonna believe it. And they're gonna be way better than you can get them in a container. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching this one. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We'll see you for the next one. Take care.